Tantra khatre mein hai of targeting journalists of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who rose to power on the debris of an embattled Manmohan Singh government. Views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal and do not reflect the views of any organization. Hello and welcome friends to Straight Bat. Namaskar, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Democracy khatre mein hai, loktantra khatre mein hai, democracy is in danger. I've been seeing lots of such videos. I even saw a rally and t-shirts of BJP versus democracy and banners at the Opposition Save Democracy rally last week at the Ram Leela Maidan, where the opposition is hoping to set the election agenda by raising the flag of democracy. All these opposition leaders had gathered there to protest the arrest of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, and they claimed they were saving democracy from dictatorship. That was the recurrent theme. As I said, that's a theme that I've been watching on these viral videos also in the country at the moment. Now, interestingly, the last time an opposition gathering focused on this democracy khatre mein hai or democracy versus dictatorship narrative was during the historic 1977 election, when the mighty Indira Gandhi was defeated by a combined opposition force. But my friends, a reality check is now needed. And that reality check will tell you that 2024, like it or not, is not 1977. And Narendra Modi is not quite Indira Gandhi. And I'm going to tell you why here on the Straight Bat. Listen very carefully. Firstly, in terms of pure optics, a 21-month-old emergency in which hundreds of politicians and political activists were jailed cannot be compared just yet to the arrests of two opposition chief ministers. Let's be clear, the manner in which Arvind Kejriwal and before that Hemant Soren have been arrested on the eve of the elections is questionable. The manner in which central agencies have been weaponized, their unbridled use against opposition leaders is a grim reminder of the abuse of power. And yet, my friends, the emergency analogy that we are heading back to 1975 is frankly still a bit of a stretch. Yes, there is no level playing field at the moment ahead of the elections. But to suggest that we are as a result heading into an opposition Mukt Bharat phase is, I believe, excessively alarmist at this stage. Just witness the intense seat-by-seat competition that is on in a state like Maharashtra. Secondly, the opposition leadership in 1977 was far more seasoned and respected than the disjointed India alliance, which has struggled to project a united and cohesive front. The Janata Party then was forged overnight by disparate forces like the Jan Sangh, the Socialists, all held together by the glue of fierce anti-Congressism. The moral compass to this Janata Party was provided by a freedom movement stalwart like Jai Prakash Narayan. Can any of those who had gathered at the Ram Leela Maidan last week really invoke a JP-like sense of principled leadership? While anti-Modism binds the opposition at the top, on the ground, contradictions have scarcely melted away. AAP versus Congress in Punjab, Trinamool Congress versus Left Congress combined in Bengal, even the Left and Congress in Kerala, they are at loggerheads. Thirdly, the opposition doesn't come into the democracies in danger or Loktantra khatre mein hai debate with clean hands. Charges of autocratic behavior, of targeting journalists, of targeting cartoonists, of targeting dissenting voices have been made against several opposition chief ministers in the last decade. Then whether it be in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra, when Maharashtra was under the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi rule, they've all faced punitive action. If the enforcement directorate has been a sword arm of the central government to be used and is being used against political opponents, then so has the local police in state capitals. Fourthly, my friends, there is a growing disconnect between the need to preserve democratic values and the common citizens' preoccupations today. Please listen to this very carefully. In 1977, there was a perceptible public anger against the stifling of democratic freedoms, and this manifested itself principally in North India, where the Indira Gandhi government's forcible sterilization Nasbandi program led to excesses that affected the masses. Recall, however, that South India, where emergency measures did not directly impact the electorate, had stood firmly in the Congress's embrace in 1977. Moreover, my friends, the urban middle class, which is the primary driver of this push to sustain democratic ideals, is a very different socio-economic category now than what it was in the 1970s. In a fast-growing, tech-driven economy, urban anomie or normlessness tends to set in. And here an aspirational, me-first generation is increasingly getting disengaged from political activism unless their personal interests are directly at stake. Me-first generation getting disconnected from political activism unless their personal interests are at stake. I repeat this because this is crucial. For example, youth who are angered by the repeated paper leaks have hit the street, as did farmers during the farm law agitation. But these are restricted to particular areas. For the vast multitudes in a nation as large as ours, what do we see? Clickbait activism, click karo, where a Dhruv Rathi viral video will be excitedly shared. But my friends, this is the limit of your public participation in any battle to protect constitutional freedoms. How many of those who click a Dhruv Rathi video will hit the streets and say democracy khatre mein hai? In the 1970s, which was still a period of competitive trade unionism, committed civil society groups and idealistic politics, fighting for democratic spaces mattered. Fighting for any against arrogance of power mattered. Now what do we get? Some hand-wringing WhatsApp messages. हमने WhatsApp तो कर दिया, हमने forward कर दिया. Ironically, the last time the urban middle class anger appeared to genuinely shake the political class was when Arvind Kejriwal and his friends launched their anti-corruption movement in 2011. Then it was billed as a crusade to cleanse politics. It was in essence, my friends, a protest against the entire political class. Sab neta chor hai, all leaders are thieves, became a rallying cry for those who were increasingly cynical about our ruling elite. Then Mr. Kejriwal was the anti-establishment outsider, railing against the very forces he is now aligned with. In a sense, the wheel has come full circle. From being the face of an anti-corruption Andolan, Kejriwal now seeks to erase the alleged Delhi liquor policy scam taint in the company of those very forces he was once vociferously accusing of corruption. You might have seen on the stage at the Ram Leela, many of the people whom Mr. Kejriwal would say, "Inko to arrest karna chahiye." Now, those very people were standing up for him. Please tell me, how is such a political arrangement that is primarily aimed at self-preservation going to be truly credible or even sustainable? This is a question the opposition has to ask itself. Paradoxically, the biggest beneficiary of this extreme anti-politician mood that was created by Arvind Kejriwal's India Against Corruption movement in 2011 to 13 is, guess who? Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who rose to power on the debris of an embattled Manmohan Singh government. Mr. Modi is not, as emphasized at the outset, an Indira Gandhi-like mainstream political figure who is attached to any code of political correctness. He has actually artfully borrowed from Mrs. Gandhi's playbook, especially in his attempt to remove all the institutional checks and balances so that he can fulfill his desire for complete domination of the polity. Mr. Modi, let's be honest, he is an unabashed populist strongman, but he is sharper arguably and more ruthless than even the late Congress Prime Minister. Mrs. Gandhi's anxieties, fueled by the vaulting ambitions of her son Sanjay Gandhi, pushed her almost into declaring the emergency in 1975. Mr. Modi, on the other hand, is much cleverer. He claims to work within the framework of constitutional democracy while slowly and systematically pushing it towards what some would call an electoral autocracy and certainly some would call religious majoritarianism. Why invoke an emergency provision when the existing laws are seen to be enough to intimidate the opposition, or when a mostly pliant media is seen to have fallen in line? For example, the bail provision amendments to the Prevention of Money Laundering Act or PMLA were pushed through Parliament as a money bill and then inexplicably ratified by a Supreme Court bench headed by a judge who was on the verge of retirement and who is now the country's Lokpal. This, my friends, is a classic example of how a draconian law can be used to settle political scores under the guise of anti-corruption populist fervor, that we are targeting the corrupt. Truth is, in the process, the fundamental bail not jail credo has been overturned, and vendetta politics, my friends, has got normalized, which is another reason why it may take much more than just one Save Democracy opposition rally or some clickbait of a viral video to challenge a domineering politician who is backed by the most formidable election machine in post-independence India. Let me leave you with a postscript and a factual data point. A Pew organization survey, and it carries it across the world, in February this year found that 67% of Indians thought that a system in which a strong leader can make decisions without interference from parliaments or courts would be a good way of governing this country. That figure was up from 55% in 2017. Loktantra khatre mein hai? Yeah, this is what people want from our democracy. Wither democracy, as some would say. Kahan hai Loktantra? That was the straight bat. Do, of course, log on to my YouTube channel and subscribe to it for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind. Namaskar.